Good to have you back. This is the Idea Morning Digest, and before we went on the great break, I told you that we'll be bringing a guest, and today we are talking about a humanitarian issue that's quietly unfolding within Nigeria's borders, and one that sits at the intersection of security, governance, and human dignity. So just to get the context right, new figures from the United Nations Refugee Agency revealed that over 21,000 refugees and asylum seekers in Nigeria remain unregistered. And we have a fellow from the African Liberty that is going to be, joining us today, and he's going to be helping us unpack this. We're going to be joined by Kumbo Maboso, a policy analyst and assistant fellow with African Liberty. Kumbo specializes in governance, public policy, and political economy, with a strong focus on border governance, humanitarian policy, and state capacity in Africa. He holds an honors degree in actuarial science from the University of Malawi and has worked extensively on issues affecting refugees, internally displaced persons, and fragile administrative systems across the continent. Thank you for joining us, Kumbo. I hope I got your name correctly.
It is correct.
Good morning, Kumbo.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us this morning. How is Malawi? Can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I say, how is Malawi? Hope is Malawi as cold. Malawi is as cold as Nigeria today.
Malawi is very not cold as such. It's mild.
Okay. So let's just head straight to the questions we have for you today. We want to understand. Because this report was released yesterday. Let's start with the numbers. Reports suggest that over 21,000 refugees in Nigeria are still unregistered. And from a policy and governance standpoint now, how big a risk is this both for, the refugees themselves and for the countries hosting them?
I would say this is a serious issue. It's a serious security issue because when you have such number that is unregistered, it actually means that these people are deprived of their basic human rights. Having undocumented people in the country, it means that they are not recognized. They do not have status in the country, and it may so pose a security issue because the government might not know how many refugees are in the country because they do not have registration.
Okay, so you're saying that when people are saying it's just a delay, you are saying that the implications go much deeper than that.
Yes,
okay.
It's not just a delay. It's a very serious situation. It's a security issue, and in some countries like Uganda, it has had serious security consequences.
Okay, so I think that already sounds like a ticking political policy issue, and not just a minor administrative one. So to my next question, before I leave Chidera to follow up with the next question, government agencies often point to logistic challenges as and security concerns, and you've mentioned that as reasons for delayed refugee registration. So in your view, are these genuine constraints, or they just reflect deeper gaps in coordination, in funding or political will?
Mostly these are more into unfunctional institutions in the country. Like there's lack of coordination and all that. It's not more of it's a matter of preparation. It actually means that the government has not really prepared before when it comes to these issues. So the government is supposed to have more or less like a predicted funding going towards the refugee part, so that these issues should be addressed. But also, as I said, it might also be that the immigration, for example, and the security guys, there is no proper coordination between these institutions, which poses a threat or a point to say there is a need for reform on that one. Because in a democratic governance, a problem like this one might actually cause for reforms rather than delays or backlogs as it is for now in Nigeria.
Okay. So that being said, want to know, what are the immediate human consequences for refugees who remain undocumented for a long period? What are the consequences, the human consequences?
Thank you, Jidela. Thank you, Jidela, for that.
Okay, I said, what
So
are the immediate human consequences for these refugees that remained undocumented for a long period of time?
okay, one, they lack access to health facilities. Two, they also lack access to the formal economy. So you'd see that there is more competition from the informal economy because now these undocumented people or refugees, they may not be able to register their businesses and all that, and they may bring more competition to the formal market.
I think that puts refugees in survival mode, not recovery mode.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can you it's okay, let me just ask so from a national security perspective now, if we want to take it to how do you think, how does a growing backlog of unregistered refugees now affect Nigeria's control and internal security efforts? I know this is not just about Nigeria, it's peculiar to all African countries. I know you're not a Nigerian, but you have that knowledge about what is happening in African countries. So how do you think this growing backlog of unregistered refugees can affect Nigeria's border control and internal security efforts, given the fact that we are, faced with so many insecurity challenges in the moment?
That is very true. As far as you have got undocumented number of people in the country, like refugees, as it is in the case, you find that institutions in the country are not having adequate resources in order for example, health resources in order to that is enough for the community or for the population itself. So as also on the pondering on the security issue itself, you may find that there may be other people with ill intent that are in the country. So you cannot differentiate of people that are seeking asylum in the country and those people that are really that have got ill minds in the country. So the solution to it is to expedite the process of registration, maybe have more institutions or maybe regional blocks to come in so that they can help in sorting out the registration issue.
I think that's a very powerful paradox there.
Really, it is. So, want to know what role should regional bodies and neighboring countries play, given that many refugees are still flying across borders with this conflict that is on ground?
Yeah. As Africa, because of the wars that we are facing, for example, from the Great Lakes, Cameroon, we will still have these refugees coming in and out. But now it is the role of the regional blocks to have more like a shared pool of resources. For example, registration can be automated. They can use technology now to register, for example, using biometrics. Now, this will help like having one database within the region where now there will not be duplication of refugees in one country. But also, we may have like a predicted funding towards the refugees. What I mean is now, if the regional blocks have set aside some money to help in terms of the refugees, now it means we will not have these issues like having undocumented refugees because money will already or resources will already be aside maybe to hire more people so that you can sort this thing out. I mentioned an idea of technology. With technology now, you don't need a lot of human personnel so that you document. It's easy and it's faster. But this can be a coordinated effort within the regional bloc or neighboring countries coming together and coming up with a solution so that even registration itself is faster and these immigrants or refugees are able to access resources within the nation.
Interesting. So I'll go back to the case of Nigeria again because we are being laden with a very heavy burden at this point in time. We're not just talking about the case of refugees now. In Nigeria, because of the insecurity issues, we are dealing with millions of internally displaced persons currently.
Yes.
Talk of Benue State, talk of, even there are some IDP camps here in Abuja, in the FCT. How sustainable do you think it is for a country like Nigeria, given our situation currently, to manage both these problems, refugees and internally displaced persons at scale, especially with limited resources? At what point do you think this is going to strain us? Is it going to turn us? Is it going to break us down completely? Or how do you think? At what point do you think this is going to strain us?
I should say this is very unsustainable. The Jews state that is there where you have people within the Nigeria display like
just few months back, and they were in shock that people are still internally displaced in the states. Okay, I think we have Kumbo back. Okay, good to have you back.
Sorry.
Yes, did you get my
yes,
question? Should I go over it again?
Yes. As I was saying, this is very unsustainable for Nigeria, where now you have got internally displaced persons. And in addition to that, you also have refugees to cater for. The resources, as you're putting it, as it is this right now, around 21,000 refugees have been displaced, meaning as refugees, and now you also have a huge number of internally displaced persons. You can actually see to say without proper funding or without international partnership or just immediate aid from an international organization, the country might break. So, which now suggests to say in a democracy now, with if this situation is to prolong, now you have a lot of security issues. You will have a lot of people that are not accessing their basic human rights like registrations or birth certificates. Because now even those people that the refugees, they may also be producing as well, like having babies and all that, and the babies which will be born from these refugees which are not documented might as well not have a registration as in birth certificates or so. So they may be stateless. So this is not sustainable to say.
Okay, the way we took a deep breath regarding that. Okay, go ahead, Chidera.
Yeah, but that being said, do you think there are economic or social implications for host communities, being that these refugees remain outside formal system? Do you think there are implications, economic implications or social implications?
Yes, there are economic and also social implications there. As I said, that these people might not be able to participate fully in the formal economy because now they do not have papers or certificates or like registration and all that. So there will be a lot of informal activity happening. Now, with this informal activity happening, it means now there will be a huge competition to the formal market. What I'm trying to drive at is that these refugees might want to survive as well in the economy. And they may have businesses that even the government of Nigeria might not be able to collect taxes from, because they cannot collect taxes from businesses that are not registered, from people that are not recognized as well. And this might also cause a threat to the social stand, like the community around, because now, because these people are not registered legally, they may not be even taken to court to what status are they of. And they may even have ill intention when doing this informal business. So it may end up to say people have been robbed of their money and all that. So it is causing a huge economic and also a social problem.
Interesting. I think that reframes the refugee debate entirely for me here. But um, I'll go back to asking a question on international obligations. Yes, just want to get the reality in check now because we have international and regional asylum frameworks, which Nigeria have a commitment to. And under our commitments now, would you say that the country is fully meeting its obligations or mostly responding reactively when crises emerge?
Nigeria is trying its best, but more I would say it's reacting to the situation. I mentioned to say the institutions might not be functioning fully, or there is no coordination within the institutions, and it also shows lack of funding, funding to the to these issues because it's not like this issue has just risen from somewhere, but now it has been an issue that has been there for a period. It means the government should have a foreseeable funding option or international corporations that were already maybe set aside to say this situation reaches to another extent, then this is what we are going to do. So this particular way, it lacks also a strategy. But all in all, Nigeria is reacting as it is trying to sort this particular situation.
Okay, talking about technology now, because that brings technology to my mind. Because when we talk about technology, we're talking about solutions now, and
Solutions, yeah.
yes, humanitarian protection. Now that's where I want us to hit. Because you mentioned technology, if I can remember clearly,
Yeah.
and how technology can be a solution here. But I'm just thinking, let's go wrap our heads around ethical considerations. Let's wrap our heads around national security as well, because we are complaining that some of these immigration issues brings. Okay, do we still have Kumbo there? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So
Can you
okay,
get me?
okay. So we are complaining that some of these issues, some of these immigration issues, brews national security problems and the insecurity challenges we've been facing. So you talking about technology now as the solution. Do you think it can help, speed up registration without compromising national security?
Thank you so much. Technology is a solution to many problems, but it has to be also responsible technology. There are security issues indeed in technology, but I feel like technology might also help to solve the problem at hand, the refugee crisis in Nigeria right now. What I'm trying to talk about is, for example, issue of biometrics. For example, it may help in the capturing of refugees fast as well, using refugee systems. Now, I'm not just talking about technology within Nigeria, but this might also be, for it to be sustainable, this might also be maybe within the region of BROC, for example, ECOWAS, countries within ECOWAS having one system and having one database where now all legislations are being registered in that particular database. And this might bring us closer to say now there'll be like a shared budget for the same technology. Because as far as technology is efficient, but it is also a little bit costly as well in a short run, but it's less costly in a long run. So technology, it's a very good solution and it might not pose any security issues. It's just a need of managing security issues that may come because of using technology.
Very interesting.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes, very
very.
interesting indeed.
Mm.
So yes, from what we've gathered, we see that you've talked about technology as part of ways that we can get this to get sorted out. But then, want to ask, what do you think? what are the steps you think the Nigerian government and the international partners, what are the steps you think they should take immediately to prevent these issues from escalating further?
Okay, thank you so much, Tira. I think the first thing that the government of Nigeria has to do immediately is to declare that there is a situation, a refugee situation in Nigeria, and seek international help. What I'm trying to pull in is that when the consequences have, when the government has accepted that they have got a problem, more organization will come in and they help in this particular situation. Secondly, the government of Nigeria need to also seek help from ECOWAS, the regional bloc that they are in. Even they might as well take off the burden to some countries that are within ECOWAS itself. And there is a need for a predictable funding for the government of Nigeria. So the government of Nigeria need to put money aside for these refugees. That is to say, sustainable money stream for these refugees, so that immediately the number might decrease. We had a case in Uganda where now the legal framework there suggests that about 90 days people seeking asylum should be registered. But now it was taking about 1.5 years without people registering. But then they had now serious reforms, and also they had funding into registration, and up until the situation came to a point where they're able to manage refugees that are getting into Uganda. So maybe Nigeria can also take a leaf from and learn from the case of Uganda, so that this situation might be sorted.
I think so far, I think I like how you've been stressing on, strategic solutions, and also not just strategic solutions, but ensuring that these strategic solutions are, effective, because that's the key word there. But let me just paint I wanted to just paint a worst case scenario, just to wrap this up. If those steps are taken, these steps that you have mentioned, if they are taken soon, what's the worst case scenario? Or if they aren't taken soon, what's the worst case scenario rather?
If they were, sorry.
If they aren't, all of these steps, all of these solutions you have pointed out, if they are not taken into considerations, what's the worst case scenario?
Okay, the worst case scenario is that there will be a big security issue. Security will be at stake in Nigeria, because as more people are coming in to seek asylum in Nigeria, other people of ill intent may also find this opportunity, because now there is a loophole of unregistered refugees in Nigeria. So when we talk about security now, it means now we may not have a working economy, because now there's competition from the informal market. We may also have people being robbed, so peace within Nigeria might also be of a challenge. So security-wise, there may be a major problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Kumbo. Thank you for your very precise answers and for your time. And yes, that's Kumbo. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yes, that's Kumbo
yes,
Maboso, a policy analyst and an assistant, an assistant fellow with African Liberty. Thank you for your time once again.
Thank you.
That's the much we can take for today.